uphold the sovereignty of the people, defend their right to self-determination, and promote the radical transformation of Uganda into an arbitrarian, democratic, and just society. I shall resist all forms of authoritarianism, militarism, corruption, exploitation, and colonial domination, and commit myself to building institutions that serve the people, not power. I shall conduct myself with integrity, discipline, humility, and accountability to the organs and membership of the party and masses whose interests I am sworn to represent. I shall refrain from advancing personal, sectarian, ethnic, religious, or class interests, contrary to the collective will and vision of the party. I shall submit to the collective leadership, uphold the principle of internal democracy, and engage in a principled ideological debate in pursuit of the party's objectives. I shall protect the unity of the party and never conspire with enemies of the people or betray the movement for personal gain or political convenience. I take this oath freely, solemnly, and without reservation, fully conscious of the historical weight of the struggle and sacrifices made by those who came before me. So help me God.
Jowe yamubuno tumukubye nga buli omuyama eri munne okukolagana, okuwuliziganya n'okuyambagana okutuukiriza obuvunaanyizibwa bwaffe eri ekibiina eri bannayuganda ate n'eri buli omu eri munne. Bannayuganda abatali wano, ekirayiro kino kikiikiridde obwagazi, obulumi n'okwewaayo kwabwe okuzimba eggwanga eririmu obwenkanya, eririmu okuwuliziganya, eririmu okuyambagana, lye twagala okuzimba nga DF. Etwogeddeko eggwanga eririmu obwenkanya, obwenkanya mu byenfuna, obwenkanya mu nkulaakulana y'abantu n'embeera zaabwe, ate n'obwenkanya mu byobufuzi. So si ebyobufuzi ebyabakirimaanyi gyasinga ekifuba ekinene yeekomya buli kimu. Ebyo byetwagala okulwanagana nabyo, tuddemu tuzimbe eggwanga eppya, eggwanga erina amatu, eggwanga eriwulira, eggwanga erina amaaso, eggwanga erina ebigere n'emikono nga kibikola n'olugendo lwabyo lwakuweereza bannansi, abaana n'abazzukulu. Okujjukiza abakulembeze abalayidde olwaleero nti olukuŋŋaana lwe twali mutabamiruka e Buddu baatuwa ebiragiro bannanyini kibiina okubaako yetugoberera. Ekimu ku byo okukolerera obumu, okulwanirira obumu. Era nnyina byendabye ng'ekyo bwe tukyogerako kibeewuunyisa nti ate mwagala bumu, ate mwakoze ekibiina. Simanyi babadde baagala tukole ekkanisa oba ssabo. Ffe eno mu kibiina mwe tuyise ebirowoozo byaffe, era tukkiriza bulungi nti waba wakuzimba kintu ekirina omuzinzi kirina okutambulira mu kintu ekiri mu mateeka. Ekibiina kyaffe kino ekito ekyakazaalibwa bwe kirumya omutwe ate okubanga bw'ataba musezi nga wange. Era tulinange ku muntu yenna atambuza kibiina kye, twagala batupimire ku bye twogera ne bye tunaakola. Abadde balina obweraliikirivu, ffe komiti okwewaayo kwaffe tukwanjudde, ebigendererwa byaffe biri mu lwato. N'olwekyo nsaba okujjukiza abakulembeze mmwe abalayidde nti bwe twali e Buddu twaweebwa ebiragiro okugoberera abasibe abali mu makomerero ebyobufuzi, okulaba nti tugenda mu kalulu ka bonna ng'abantu abo tebanunuddwa. Ekyo bwe kinaaba tukikoze kijja kuba kitegeeza tutaddewo kagenderere, bajja kwongerako n'abasibe abalala. Ekyokubiri okulaba nti enteekateeka gye twayanjulira eggwanga ey'okuteekawo amateeka agajjulula obuyinza tugirondoola nga tukwatagana ne bannaffe abalala, kubanga akatuubagiro akali mu ggwanga muno akaleega bijja ak'emyaka 4 nti tugenda mu kalulu ng'afuluma era yakomawo. Ako kabeera kalulu k'abajega. Tulina okusala amagezi ekibi kikoma. Era baatujjukiza okukola amagezi okulwana nti wabeera bw'enkyukakyuka mu mateeka ag'ebyokulonda nga bwe twaganjula ne ssemateeka nti ensonga ezo tuzibeereko. N'ekisembayo okulwana okulaba nti obulumi obuli mu ggwanga muno olw'obutali bwenkanya butuusiddwa ku bantu ab'enjawulo n'ebitundu eby'enjawulo, tulwana okulaba nti babeerawo enkola ennungamu eri mu mateeka ereetawo okutabagana kw'abantu, healing and reconciliation mu bantu olw'obulumi obw'emyaka gino. bwe tufuna obwetwaze, buli kitundu ky'eggwanga kirozeza okutali bwenkanya, kufuga bbi, kufubittizi ku nge y'abakulembeze. Oluvannyuma lw'emyaka gino walina okubeerawo abantu abalina obwongo n'emitima emikkakkamu n'okwebulirira okumala okukulemberamu enjogerezeganya okukakkanya emitima gy'abantu. Bannayuganda balekeraawo buli omu okwerabanga omulabe wa munne, naye nga bannansi abazimba eggwanga eryawamu. Njagala okubeebaza olw'okugumiikiriza. Allow me make this one single elders, Mr. Chiwanuka, Anthony and team, and the good pastor, and all of you. You don't have to come. Just stay there. I have no reason to bother you. Though the duo, those two you see, worked under Benedicto Chiwanuka as personal assistants at the various levels, and here they are, trying, not giving up on this country, ready to counsel us, ready to listen to us, and offer us wise counsel, because they have literally seen it all. What you think is a big problem, they have actually seen, they have been in part. Thank you for the humility, for accepting to listen to us with our emptiness on some cases, with our rabble-rousing, propaganda and rhetoric. Thank you. We appreciate you very sincerely. Abataka abo buli kimu baakiraba naye batuwadde obudde bwabwe. Oluusi balaba abantu nga boogera ebitajjansa ne beewuunya, ne batukeneka nga twogera ebitaliimu naye nga bamanyi ekituufu. Tubeesunga nnyo tuyamba tuwa ekkubo tunaatambulira kubanga buli kimu mukirabye. So Mr. Chairman, thank you for this day. I want to wish everybody a good afternoon, and please go and think better about the responsibility over which you have taken an oath. Thank you so much for God and my country.
Let's have the national anthems. Starting from
I'll be very brief. The chairman of the party, who is the host this afternoon, the deputy presidents here present, the party secretary general, colleagues, members of SEC and NEC, and our friends from the Full State. I'll convey my apologies first for this delayed function. It never was our intention, but we had some logistical delays that occasioned this delay. I'd like to thank my brother and Commissioner of Oath, Councillor Bumpenje, for enabling us to go through this process of swearing in members of NEC and SEC. This is not a ritual, but a serious occasion to commit, to resolve, to offer our unwavering commitment, initially to ourselves as mutual leaders of a common cause, and also to pledge the same to the people of Uganda, on whose behalf we commit undertake these obligations. So I congratulate my colleagues for the commitment you have made publicly. And the people of Uganda will hold us onto this oath, because it lays bare our intentions. Our intentions are not shrouded in secrecy. Our obligation is public, and this afternoon we have recommitted that we set out to ensure that we meet this obligation. Because I spoke widely and deeply on the nature of our obligation in Masaka, I'll be very brief this afternoon to only remind you that the commitment we have made today is not ordained. In not being ordained, I mean, is only a matter of duty as long as we live. And therefore, we are here to build the monument of our existence. We are here to commit to build our legacy as leaders of our community peoples. One of the journalists this afternoon, I think, aware that we may not take questions today, sent me a message to ask that your oath is unique. It carried a statement that you commit to immediately build, as they say, Honorable President, you said in your oath that you want to build very quickly an egalitarian nation. What do you mean exactly? It's a new phrase. And I'll explain that in a few words. Egalitarian necessarily means equal society, a community, society of equals. And it can take the shape of social egalitarianism, it can be political egalitarianism, it can be economic. When you say political, we mean to enable everybody to participate. That's egalitarian. When it's economic, it means equity in accessing national resources. When it is social, it means non-discrimination. That's what we mean by building instantly an egalitarian nation, because we are fully aware of how this country is divided, how this country's resources are in the hands of the few, and how they have chosen to eliminate everybody, every other member of society. That's why when you walk in the countryside, in some communities, you see poverty staring at you without blinking. Then you can tell that this nation needs to be re-engineered. That's why the DF talks about a fresh national consensus. That's why DF says we need a fresh national consensus. Our drive to ensure that everybody has equal opportunity, has equal access, has equal value out of our national resources. I hope I've answered that friend of mine who is a coward to ask publicly what our intentions are. It's better to serve everybody. So that's the essence of that phrase in our oath. Having said that, I want to remind us what the SG said when we formed the nation 2 days ago. That while in Masaka at the conference, the delegates asked the DF leadership, the NEC and the SEC, to do very urgently a number of things. But what is germane to this meeting is to remind us that we were instructed to embrace an agenda of collaborating and working with other changing seeking forces to ensure that the earlier efforts of the alliance are met. But the DF, we believe and are convinced that not a single platform in the circumstances has the capacity, has the infrastructure, has the capability internally and variously to surround and surmount the challenges exhibited by the current armed regime that we intend to dispose. Therefore, we must work with all change-seeking forces. Two, that we must work and make arrangements advocate and pursue the release of political prisoners as much as feasible, especially before the next election. That is part of our earlier agenda, the DA, that we must find mechanisms of ensuring that political prisoners, led by the most prominent political prisoner, our brother and comrade Dr. Besigye, are released. They are released. And ensuring that they are released does not mean that they have surrendered, but they have the right to be out of jail because they have no offense. And this, as far as we are committed and as far as we are concerned, these are citizens pursuing the rights of others, and therefore their continued incarceration is a violation of their rights to freedom and right of association. Secondly, under the same reign, that the DF pursues a national transition agenda, that we are very committed, and we have said and offered documents explaining that variously how the transition must be touched and tackled. We are also committed to the fact that the country must transition after 40 years of misrule and stagnation. Transition is inevitable. And we are worried, we are not timid, but we can see the skies are dark. We are not so sure the nature of rains that will come down. But if we go by the thunder, then we are about to get to the rains, the thunderstorm. So, before the torrential rains come down, sobriety must reign amongst the actors to try and have a conversation of how the country is going to transition. That married with our commitment to electoral reforms and the national ruling and the constitutional proposal that we offered in the document we shared with the media and the nation. For a nation that has suffered the indignity of wars since independence, migrating from a region to another, leaders of our time must summon courage, must overcome cowardice, must overcome all manner of prejudice to speak about the possibility that this nation offers if we are going to midwife a democracy that is enduring and a constitutional order that is a worthy bequest for our children and grandchildren. These are commitments, these are obligations that the delegates entrusted to us as leaders of the party. And I ask of you, whoever has capacity, has ability, has means, to rise and undertake these obligations head on. As I conclude, this was also service. You get a feeling that there are some actors amongst us in the opposition who believe that the duty to steer the country to a better path is their preserve. That is theirs, others should not be rumors. It's their job, it's their project. Can I educate everybody out here that it's a duty of everybody, including those in any room, to retreat and take back this country to a better path? It's not a person, everybody's project. Nobody should say it is theirs. It's the job of every citizen, by law, but also by common sense. Therefore, every one of us must find and summon their space, their capacity. We don't have the same commitment, we don't have the same time, we don't have the same resources, but the addition of all these inabilities into common good will give us the community that we deserve to change the course of this country. That's why, as the leader of the DF, I ask my colleagues here and away to remain humble, but to communicate our intentions firmly, deliberately, and consistently. We shall be judged by how time passes. Those who think that we've threatened decimal positions, we say to you that our commitment is beyond these positions. We want to see better Uganda. That's why we have spent the whole day here trying to find the way we can play as the DF and remain available to work with those who are available to respect us, listen to us, and work with us to change the course of our politics. Lastly, the Master of Ceremony said that the NEC is now fully constituted. I would like to edit the statement that we are at least 80% constituted. The 20% remains because the attendant parties, the DF, are still consulting to make sure the leadership represents the face of this nation and the wishes of the actors on this platform. That we shall commit and do in the coming days or weeks to ensure that all regions, all parts of Uganda, all men of thinking,